You are now listening to the voice of horror.
Lock your doors, bolt your windows, and turn off the lights. Make sure the kids are safe at home, cause you're headed to the Nightwatch zone.
Welcome to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are, Tuesday nights. You know what that means. We're back into Battleworld. Coriander's with me, Kill, and Eric. And tonight is going to be wow. I'm just like, this is like so much excitement and nervousness. It's crazy. For you guys in the chat, just a blanket hello. We're glad you guys are here. Thank you so much for joining us. And just to say hello real quick, we got Melissa. What's going on? Hope you're doing well.
Hello.
Jason's in there saying good evening all. Let's get ready for a really fierce battle. Boy, oh boy. Yes, this is going to be something. True, man. True. Oh my goodness. Val's in the house. What's going on, Val?
Hey,
Val's
Val.
on vacation.
Hey.
And Val is still in the live chats. That's what I'm talking
Nice.
about. Val, you're all right.
Awesome.
I hope you're having a great vacation, man.
Yeah.
Wow. What's up, Denisha? Good to see you too.
Hey.
Dan, what's up? What's up?
Yeah.
Hey, Dan.
And Rick is in the
Hello.
house.
Hey, Rick.
What's up, Rick? Thank you so much for hanging out with us, man. We really appreciate it. Rick always there answering posts and comments and everything. Much appreciated, man.
Nice.
Very appreciated. And let's see who else we got here. We got a couple people jumping in, and just a blanket hello if we do miss anyone. Byron, what's up, Byron? Good to see you. All right. Jason, what's up, Jason from Backtrack Cinema? What's up, brother? Friday's in the house.
I love that name.
Hello.
I do. I do too, man. Every time I see it, it puts a smile on my face. I'm just like, that's good. That is really good. I've seen a lot of cool names. That's definitely one that stands out, no doubt about it. All right, guys. So tonight is going to be a really interesting kill. I mean, we're talking about, in my opinion, we're talking about childhood and like adulthood clashing. The ultimate clash, bro.
Look, brother. This is going to be a wild one because this is nightmare fuel for us at a young age, and this is nightmare fuel for us at an adult age. Going head to head.
Head to head, brother. All right. So let's get ready to see who we have for our contenders officially, the official weigh-in. So, Coriander, who do we have in corner number one?
Okay, well, Knight, when you think your suburban home that looks just like the house next door is your forever home, turns into your worst nightmare, all right, then you have to wonder, is it the grass that they're smoking, or are the strange events really happening? So in the words of Carol Ann, they're here. We have the Freeling family.
Right. Okay. And in corner number two, Eric, who do we got coming in?
That was good. In corner number two, we have a paranormal power couple on our hands from lovely scenic Connecticut. If you're dealing with a demon, whether it's in your doll, your home, or your own body, this is who you really call. We have Ed and Lorraine Warren and The Conjuring.
All right. Okay. Man, they stacked up, Kill. And you know what that means. It's time to get this thing started. Kill, do you hear it? Do you hear it?
Yeah, I think I do hear something.
I hear it. We got these guys ready to step into Battleworld. So for you guys in the chat, for you guys watching the replay, sit back, relax, and you know what time it is. Let's get this thing going.
Oh my God. It's standing right. Oh my God. It's standing right behind
There it is.
Very
All
good.
right. Yeah, bro.
Yes.
Good job,
Bring
dude.
bringing back the memories.
Yeah.
Kill. Oh,
Good
man,
and bad.
when we were kids, man. Oh my goodness. Um,
I heard the stories. It was, oh, poor Killian.
I
Aw.
know, man. It's
Uh-oh.
all good.
It's
He,
all good.
he made it through the moments. What's up?
Oh,
Neil's in the house. Neil and Black Reviews.
Hey,
What's up,
Neil.
brother?
hey.
Good to see you. Good to see you. Dan said, Corey with the intro. Yes. And by the way, and hey, what's up to Jonathan? And by the way, big credit and shout out, for Eric and for Coriander working on these types of things and doing the prep work. So it's very, very cool. So,
Thank you.
and much appreciated, by the way. So let's get
Glad
ready
to.
to do this thing. Yeah. It's fun to do, man. It's fun, and it's an interesting way to talk about these movies and putting them face to face, so to speak. Okay, guys, you know how we do this thing. We're going to go category by category, giving the points. This is going to be absolutely difficult, in my opinion. For you guys in the chat, definitely let us know who you pick. And as always, if you do a super chat and if you want points to be given to one particular movie, then let us know and points will count per dollar. Okay. All right. So let's get this thing going as we always do. Eric, we're going to start off with where we usually start off, and we're going to talk about the poster first. Okay. We're going to talk about the poster as we always do. So let me pull those up and we'll take a look at what we've got. We've got the poster for Poltergeist from 1982. And then we have the poster for The Conjuring from 2013. So what do you think, bro?
Both are really good. Both are very ominous. I love the shading in The Conjuring. But I'm going to give it to Poltergeist. The reason why is I love it's just black and white. You know what I mean? I love that. It makes it very eerie. And I love how the image is a lot smaller than you would expect on an actual like movie poster. You know what I mean? And that
Right.
gives you that off feeling. Like something's not right. So I'm going with Poltergeist.
All right. Okay. Kill. How about you?
So we're starting with Easy Street already. Is that what we're doing? Like I'm surprised.
I guess,
Oh my God.
I guess so.
There we go.
At least
I
for
guess
me,
so.
I'm going with Poltergeist because for one, I love the black and white.
Mhm.
I love the old TV image with the little girl hands on the TV panel, and I love the lettering of Poltergeist. As much as I love The Conjuring, it's a dead tree with a noose.
And that shadow of the body.
I mean, it just
I'm just messing with
one of the things about it is the house is so far in the back and it's so blown out that it's just all right. It looks like a little house and a tree and a noose. All right.
Okay. All right. Coriander, how about you?
See, I actually like the Conjuring poster better. I think it looks creepy as hell. You can tell it's fall, which I kind of like. You can see the little bit of orange in the trees, and I'm sorry, it's definitely creepy. You can see, the noose. Like, you just know whoever's going to get this property, it's not going to be good. So yeah, man, I think this is a lot creepier than, Carol Ann doing her little thing at the television at this moment in time.
Okay. All right.
Pale little kids scare me.
Yeah, there you go.
What
and
kind
real
of kid?
quick,
What did you say?
Pale little kids
Oh,
scare
pale
me.
little kids.
there you go. Real quick, too, in the chat.
Huh?
Elm Street's Last Brats in the chat. What's going on? Saying excited to be here. Good to have you.
That's my other favorite name that
That is
always
a good
joins the
one.
chat. I love that one too.
Yes, it really, really is. And by the way, if you guys have not hit the like button, please do. It helps to support us. We'd really appreciate it. And Neil, we're definitely going to have a conversation about that when we get there. Ty's going with Poltergeist. Melissa's going with Poltergeist. Val is going with The Conjuring. Rick is going
All
with
right.
Poltergeist, saying less is more. Neil's going with Poltergeist. Dan's going with Poltergeist. Friday is going with Poltergeist. Cantana's in the chat. Welcome to the chat. Thank you for joining us tonight. Cantana's going with Poltergeist. Fluff's in the house saying I grew up behind a cemetery. Poltergeist was the only movie that ever really scared me.
I can see why.
Jason going with The Conjuring, more ominous, and from first viewing, it makes you feel completely on edge. Okay. Chris is in the chat. What's up? Good to see you, Chris. Saying Poltergeist poster for me. All right. And hey, well, look who's here. Fate's in the house. What's up, brother?
Nice.
Good to see you, man. Brother from the Lethal Collective. Saying Conjuring poster looks like a poster for some true crime documentary over a horror film. You know, that's a good point. I never thought of it like that. Hope you're doing good, man. Thanks for stopping by. For me, I do love both of these posters. I think all of you guys made great points. But I got to go with Poltergeist on this. And the thing that really gets me about the Poltergeist poster is I'm curious. You know what I mean? I'm like, what's going on? It's so dark. And then all you see is this little person in front of that TV. And I'm just curious. The font also does really work. Kill. As soon as you said that really zeroed in on something I was thinking too, man. And I do love the Conjuring poster as well, but I'm gonna go with Poltergeist on this one because I think that it just invokes more curiosity for me. So that's where we're gonna go for me. Okay. Next up, Eric, we're gonna talk about the tagline. The tagline for these movies. For Poltergeist, the tagline is, it knows what scares you. Okay. And for the tagline of The Conjuring, evil loves innocence. So what do you think?
Those are both really good.
Right? It really is.
Oh, man. I'm going to go with, like I said, I always say what would draw me to the movie. I'm going with The Conjuring. And here's why. As much as I love the Poltergeist tagline, again, I didn't know Conjuring had one. The fact that it's evil loves innocence, that tells me, like, I know children are in danger in Poltergeist. This tells me, without even knowing anything about the movie, it's going after someone young. And, you know, that's with the title mixed with that makes me want to see the movie more.
Okay. All right. Cool, man. How about you, Kill?
I love both of those taglines, but when you put the word "it" in it, that's next level. Like, it, not them, her, John, Bob. Nothing. It knows what scares you. God damn. Like,
Yeah.
I gotta go with that. They're both good, but I love that, man. That I want that on a shirt.
I might be able to help you out with that.
Yeah.
Katie's in the house. What's
Hey,
up,
Katie.
Katie?
Hello.
Good to see you. And let's see who else we got going on here. Neil's going with the tagline for The Conjuring. All right. Hale's in the chat. What's up, Hale? Good to see you. Saying going with Conjuring. All right. Ty's going with the Poltergeist tagline. Neither are really interesting to me. Ooh, okay. Wow. Jason's going with The Conjuring. Melissa's going with The Conjuring. Dan is going with Poltergeist. All right. And Katie, thank you for reminding people. Don't forget to hit the like button. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Friday's going with Poltergeist. Rick's going with The Conjuring. All right. So, Coriander, how about you? Who are you going to go with for the tagline?
I have to go The Conjuring. You know, I agree with everything that Eric said. You know, it's going to have to deal with, you're showing all these cute little girls here, so yeah, it just, and like I said, and that with the poster, I mean, come on, that's like, dang, no, I'm sorry, but yeah, The Conjuring
All
for
right.
me.
Okay. For me, this is really tough, man, because I think both taglines are pretty good and they both are creepy or eerie, I mean, and I agree with everything that all of you guys said, like what Kill said about saying it, like that really stands out for me as soon as he said that. But Evil Loves Innocence, that's pretty badass too, man. It's kind of like, wow. But I gotta go with Poltergeist on this. I mean, when it says it knows what scares you, it's like, again, it's just there's this curiosity to it. You know, is it gonna be a demon? You know, some type of alien? What is it gonna be? You know, so
Mhm.
I gotta agree, man. It's a tough category, but actually, Kill, I think you helped me to make that choice on that one, man.
Well,
It's
with
absolutely
Poltergeist,
crazy.
you know it's a poltergeist.
Yeah, but
You
what's a
know what I mean?
poltergeist?
What's Poltergeist? I didn't know what that
Like
It's
was.
it has
when
to
we were kids,
deal
man,
with
we had no idea what that meant.
like
Yeah.
it's like a spirit, you know, you're
Yeah,
dealing with a spirit
right.
where
But like,
the Conjuring, you don't know what you're
Mhm.
dealing with. It's something worse than a
But in The
spirit.
Conjuring, if you're not innocent, it won't mess with you.
What?
Poltergeist will get everyone. It knows what scares you. It doesn't matter if you're innocent or not.
Guys, this person, I think you're forgetting what happened in this movie.
No, no, not
Or
at all.
maybe we,
yeah.
saw something different. I don't know, but when
Well,
see these
like,
two movies. Go ahead. Let's not
well, I
get
was gonna
into it
say,
yet. But go ahead.
well, no, but one thing that I think is interesting is that, yeah, I mean, if you knew what a poltergeist is, that's fine. But even in the movie, man, there were spirits, there were skeletons, and there was even a true beast. So it's like,
Mhm.
well, you know, what is it? You know what I mean? And of course, you don't know that until you watch it. But I guess that's what I'm saying, is that I had no idea what to expect. I mean, I knew it was something that was spiritual, you know, at least that's what I was assuming even when I was a kid. But it's ominous though. I
Mhm.
mean, it really, really is, I think. I don't know. That's just me. That's just me. Um Katie was going with The Conjuring as well. Okay, all right. I think it's pretty split down the middle as it usually is. I think this is a tough one, man.
Mhm.
Mayan's in the chat. What's going on? Good to see you, Mayan.
Hey.
Faith saying, I'm sending Jake that every movie we make must have it in the tagline. You do have to do that, bro. You do. And everyone check out Faith's channel. Yes, yes, absolutely, man. No doubt about it. You got to have it in it. All right, guys. Let's. Neil says, I didn't eat chicken for 2 years after watching Poltergeist. I love that.
Almost
All
ruined steak
right.
for me.
Yeah. All right. So next up, we're going to talk about the opening, Eric. So the opening of the movie, we're talking about usually anywhere from the first couple minutes to maybe even up to 15 minutes of the movie. So Eric, what do you think?
Okay. This, like I said, sometimes we know what the categories are. We can kind of figure it out. This one I was preparing for, and this is my first easy street. This is Poltergeist. Okay. Poltergeist
Ooh.
wins. I like the opening for The Conjuring. We get introduced to Ed and Lorraine. We learn about, their history with the Annabelle doll. And then it's just more meeting, the family. I think Poltergeist does it better. First off, I love how it reminds me of those times when network TVs went off the air. Kids watching
Yeah.
this before streaming. TV did shut off. At a certain time, and you had that creepy scene of Carol Ann going down, talking to the television. But then we had this fun, introduction to all the family. You know what I mean? Doing certain different things. Whether mom had to get rid of the bird. Dad preparing for the football game. You had this happy-go-lucky family, and what I like about it is on repeated viewings, it gives you this false sense of security. You know what I mean? Everything seems all well and good until that storm comes. So,
Wow, that's an interesting way to look at it, man. All right. Kill, how about you?
I couldn't have said it better. I'm going with Poltergeist on this because if you watch it up until a certain point, you wouldn't think this is a horror movie. This is a family, comedy, or just it's a family drama movie. And it is very it makes you let your guard down. And until it starts to ramp up and things get really serious. No disrespect to The Conjuring, but I love how off-putting the Poltergeist makes you, because you become like, oh, I like this family. I want to see good things happen for them. And lo and behold, 10, 15, 20 minutes later, oh man, nightmare
Mhm.
fuel.
Yeah. Yeah, you're
Mhm.
having a lot of fun. Like the guy who's got the 12-pack of beer, on a bike, obviously because he doesn't have a license for reasons, you know what I mean? And the TV remote war and stuff like that. It's a lot of fun until shit hits the fan.
And you see this
Yeah.
this beautiful community that they live in. I
Mhm.
want to live there.
Yeah.
I want neighbors like this. It's beautiful. Everyone's friendly and it's sunny.
Yeah. There you go. All right.
Except when a
real-
football game's on, then it's
Right.
not so
right.
friendly.
Or Mr. Rogers.
Yeah.
I know. I love it when that one dude says, "Who's this
Who
guy?"
is
It's
that?
like, you
Right.
know who that is. Everybody knows it's Mr. Freaking Rogers. Real quick too, Ginger Ninja's in the chat. What's going
Hey.
on, man?
Ginger.
Good to see you. Good to see you. All right, Coriander. How about you when we talk about the opening?
Okay, so for a horror movie, yes, Poltergeist is a fun introduction, but when you have The Conjuring, I mean, you right off you're told that this is based on a true story. So you know that this shit in some form happened. And that
Mhm.
right there, I mean, yeah, you see the Annabelle doll. That's creepy as hell. You see how they have all these possessions in the basement that is all carrying some type of, whether it's a demon, whatever, something is attached to it, and this shit it really exists. I mean, come on. Right there, I'm already all for The Conjuring. I'm sorry.
Okay.
So there you
Well,
go.
you don't have to say you're sorry. You're just giving your point, man.
I'm just saying,
See
because
you
it
later.
seems like all you guys are for Poltergeist. We're talking about fiction to
Bro,
something
they're
based on
pretty
something
much neck
that
and neck, man.
really happened.
It flips back and
Calm
forth.
I
down.
get it because
It's neck
all
and
you
neck. You're like,
guys
you
are.
guys are-
I get it, but I'm just saying.
I
So
gave
far,
Conjuring my
Poltergeist
tagline
seems
vote.
like
I say
I
Conjuring was a better
know
tagline.
that was
Don't-
great,
Don't worry, I'm gonna give
but
Conjuring
I
some
feel
love.
like everything else for The Conjuring is going to go downhill. So please, guys,
Well, this is only
please.
the third category.
Yeah, no, we got to send in some super chats, right? We got to
Oh,
get The
geez.
Conjuring like flying ahead. Come on, man. No.
All right. For me, both of these openings are really good, and they're very, very different from each other. So again, like many of our matchups, you kind of got to go down to what you feel, And I love the opening for Poltergeist. And pretty much everything that you guys said. The opening for Poltergeist, it's very charming. It's very, you feel safe, and you're wondering what the heck's going on. You're introduced to this family, which sets them up very, very well too. And with The Conjuring, I think that it was really cool that we started off with a case and we get to kind of get into the mindset of what Ed and Lorraine are about. And we're introduced to Annabelle, there was some creepy stuff, man. The first time I watched The Conjuring, I was like, what the hell is going on? This is a really tough category to me because I love both of these openings for two different reasons. But I'm going to go with The Conjuring because I think that is such a badass opening because you're seeing these investigators and then you're seeing their other case, and then I love it when the guy in the audience said, well, what do you call yourselves? And they said investigators, paranormal researchers, and then Lorraine was like kooks, and everybody's laughing.
That was
It's
funny.
kind of like, it was great. But then she said, we just would prefer to be called Ed and Lorraine. And then you have that opening crawl, that scroll. Badass, man. I'll never forget when I first saw that. So I got to go with The Conjuring on this one. Okay. All right. Ginger Ninja said, love the opening of both movies, but I haven't seen Poltergeist in such a long time. I'm going to have to vote for The Conjuring. All right. Hale's going with Poltergeist. Joseph going with Poltergeist. Wow. All right. Neil, he says the opening to Poltergeist for me has Spielberg written all over it. That
Oh,
it does.
totally.
That it
The
does.
music,
and everything. Gina's in the chat. What's up, Gina? Good to see you too. All right. Danielle's in the house. Say never watched The Conjuring. Wow.
It's a good
You
one. Get
gotta
on that.
watch it.
Yeah.
Listen to what we're talking about tonight. Woo. All right. Okay. Next up, Eric, let's go to our next category, and that is the music. The music for Poltergeist, we've got the legendary Jerry Goldsmith, and for The Conjuring, we've got Joseph Bashara.
This was another easy street for me. You just said it right there with Jerry Goldsmith. It's Poltergeist. And like I said, how I look at the music is it's how it's used in the film. It's used really well in The Conjuring. It adds to the creep because there's not a lot of it. You know what I mean? You have to listen for it a lot of times. You know what I mean? And that kind of, you focus on the music and then boom, something's in your face. I'm going with the music for Poltergeist because when we have that opening, that opening music of Spielberg land, as I guess we kind of called it, you have that false sense of security, like I said with the opening, but then during the ending credits, you have that same music with kids singing, which is still kind of creepy to me. You know what I mean? But then when like the shit's really happening, like that final act, that intense music, that helps sell. The face coming out of the door and the bodies and everything. So I mean, this was like A+ music in Poltergeist for me.
Okay. All right. Kill, how about you?
Man, me and Eric just keep agreeing on stuff. I have to go with Poltergeist because the themes in that for me are classic, and the tonage of the different music is all over the map, to innocent and playful to deadly and scary. And the way it comes in, they want to, unlike the Conjuring, they want you to know how much work they put into this music, so it hits. And some people can look at that as a good or bad thing. The music in the Conjuring is good, but it is very sporadic, sparse, and it's very subtle. Some of the pieces in this really hit at certain eras and points. One in particular is when all the skeletons are coming out of the pool. Leslie Ann Warren is there, and that music, the crescendo is up because it's just oh crap moments. So yeah.
Right. Okay. All right. Coriander, how about you?
I'm not saying the music was bad. It definitely fit the movie. But also when it was playing, it also reminded me, I also thought of different movies. At one point I was like, oh, that reminds me of Jaws. So it's almost like not original. It is, but maybe it isn't. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, with The Conjuring, I would rather have, because where this is based on true events, I would rather have more talking than music in my movie because I want to know what happened. I've experienced shit as a kid and even as an adult. So this is, for me, this is like, yeah, the music, when it hit at the right moments, and it just elevated the creepiness. There were times in this movie where I was like, "E," and I rarely ever say that in a movie. You can ask Night, and in The Conjuring, that happened. So it definitely brought the creep factor. So yeah.
All right. Okay. All right. And real quick too, let me just catch up to the chat. Fate saying the Fat Conjuring didn't have Queens We Will Rock You playing with Ed Lorraine showed up to take on Bathsheba. Feels like a missed opportunity. We will rock you. Oh my god. Yeah, that's a good point, man. What's up, Bacon's in the chat? Good to see you. Melissa's going with Poltergeist for the music. And Neil's coming in, Coriander. Neil heard the plea. And first of all, Neil, thank you very
You're
much.
the best, Neil.
And I'm sure Coriander is very happy about that. It'll help her to get a shirt at Terracon. Right?
Oh,
right,
thank
Coriander?
you. Yeah,
He says,
I'll have to definitely will have to get a Conjuring one.
"Ooh, that's a good point."
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Neil. We appreciate it.
Yeah, you're awesome.
$30 super chat. Wow, man. It says, gotta help Corey out. 30 points for Gryffindor. I mean, The Conjuring. All right. Thank you so much, man. We appreciate you. Now, for me, again, you guys are hitting all the points that go across my mind for these categories. Both movies utilize music very well, in my opinion, and I think that one movie has a little bit more of a kind of like a charm to its music, as far as just the melodies and everything, and one has more intensity, you know what I mean, and more of like a creep factor. And I'm sure you guys can kind of figure that out.
Mhm.
But here's how I'm going to make the choice. Both movies, if you when you watch them, they have just these little melodies that replay over and over. And for the Poltergeist, it has a really, really good one. And to me, it always makes me it just makes me think of family, and their family going through things. And The Conjuring has one that is, I think it's kind of like Ed and Lorraine's little melody, so to speak. Like every
Mhm.
time when he's trying to get her to not come on these assignments because he's worried about her freaking life. And they have that little melody that plays, and she's like, God brought us together for a reason. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I've seen both of these movies countless times. Obviously, Poltergeist more since I was a little kid. But every time I watch The Conjuring and that music plays, it's pretty emotional. So I'm gonna go with The Conjuring on this. Every time that music plays, it just and of course a lot of that is the strength too of the characters, but it all works together in the movie. So I'm going with The Conjuring on this one. All right. Let's see. Bones is in the chat. What's up, Bones? Good to see you. All right. Let's see. Let's see. Ty said The Conjuring did have the zombie song. All the Conjuring
Mhm.
movies have a rock song from the era. Yeah, it's a good point too. They did have some really cool rock music as well. So it was different
Yeah.
types of stuff. Um, Michael's in the chat. All right, there we go. Good to see you,
Hello.
man.
Hey.
Movies and Beyond. Saying I love Poltergeist. I know he does, man. He's from the same generation. But
Okay.
man, the Conjuring is on a different level. All
Yeah,
right,
it
all
is.
right. I hear you. Okay, Eric, we're gonna go to our next category, bro. We're talking about the story, the overall story. Right.
They're both really good. You know
Yeah.
what? I'm going to pull a coriander here, and I'm going to say The Conjuring because, as much as I enjoy the story of Poltergeist, I love it when a movie can take based on actual events. You know what I mean? They might have to switch some stuff around. 'Cause that's Hollywood. And you got to accept
Mhm.
that. And what they were able to do with the files of Ed and Lorraine, and they made this movie. I mean, I
Mhm.
like some of the backstory and stuff like that. I gotta go with The Conjuring. I just think it adds to the creep factor for
All
a
right.
haunted house movie, or however you want to describe it. You know what I mean?
All right. Sounds good. Sounds good. So you're going with The Conjuring. Real
Mhm.
quick kill before I get to you. We got Jason. Jason's coming in, jumping on the train. $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Jason. We really appreciate that, man. Seriously, we put a lot of work into the stream. We really
Yeah,
appreciate any
Mhm.
type of generosity that people can give, man. Thank you so much for that.
definitely. And I just
Thank
read who
you.
that's for, and that's awesome.
Yeah. Say I loved Poltergeist as a teen, but overall The Conjuring was based on real life and it hit me on a deeply emotional level. 5 for The
Same, dude.
Conjuring. All right. Wow.
Same.
Wow. So The Conjuring is stacking up here for you guys that are
Yeah.
fans of Poltergeist. Just saying.
Ugh,
Just
that makes me
saying.
so happy.
All right. So Kill, what do you think about for story?
Okay, I just so Coriander knows, I'm also a fan of The Conjuring here, like we all are.
Right.
So I think as far as a story, Conjuring has a better story. And the reason for
Okay.
that, and once again, this is why I love having to go, category by category, because now
Right.
this is one that I think has hands down has a better story. The Conjuring has so much complexity going, where
Mm-hmm.
the young ladies are being terrorized, the mom is being possessed, Ed and Lorraine are going through their own fears of them, especially Lorraine still doing this investigation with, things that could happen to her. Whereas on the Poltergeist side, essentially it's Carol Ann that's,
Mm-hmm.
being abducted and lured away and so forth. And of course the seedy real estate issues that were going on there.
Right?
Um,
Yes.
So the complexity of the story and the depth, hands down, this is easy street for me. It's The Conjuring.
Okay. All right.
Nice.
Coriander, how about you?
Oh, totally The Conjuring. I mean, it's definitely from start to finish. I mean, you get to see how much this mother loves her children, how much her family means to her, and
Mm-hmm.
the fact that the thing that the witch, whatever she's called, that hung herself and that's possessing this property. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
holy shit. The fact that what it did to this mother, I mean, come on. At the end of this movie, you were there. I was like, the first time I saw it, I don't know where I was. I was like on another plane. I must have been like going in and out of sleep. But the second time I watched this movie, by the end of it, I was bawling.
Mm,
So,
Mm.
yeah, man.
All right. Very cool. Very cool. For me, I mean, both of these movies have great stories, and if for you guys in the audience, if you haven't figured it out, with these matchups, trying to have really good matchups, this is probably not only the toughest matchup, but maybe the one that has the most parallels. It really does, like so many parallels. That being said, I got to go with The Conjuring as well. And you guys pretty much said it. I think that there's so much complexity in the story, and it could have been an advantage or a disadvantage, but it was done in a way where it was an advantage to the movie because you're following Ed and Lorraine plus the Perrin family, and they interlock with each other, and there's just so much going on. The stakes, they get raised higher and higher and higher and higher as the movie goes on. Just when you think it can't get any higher, it keeps going. So I'm going to go with The Conjuring for the story category. Okay, for you guys in the chat, let us know what you think. And if you are a fan of Poltergeist, you may want to send in a super chat. You might want to do that. Okay, so Eric, next up, we're going to supporting characters. Okay, so this is all of the characters except for the three couples: Carolyn and Roger, Diane and Stephen, Ed and Lorraine are out of this category. So it's everyone else in both movies. Okay. So just want to explain that to everyone. Okay. What do you think?
Okay, say that again.
Other than the three couples,
Mhm.
which is Ed and Lorraine,
Okay.
and Roger and Carolyn from The Conjuring, and then from Poltergeist, it excludes Diane and Stephen.
Oh, okay. So like excluding the married couple.
That's right.
I'm going Poltergeist, and here's why.
Okay.
I love the investigative team so much in this film. Don't get me wrong. Robbie's fine. Carol Ann is really good. I like the Dana, the older daughter. I love how she gives the construction worker shit. You know what I mean? Sonny Landham. We all love Sonny. He's flirting with her.
Billy!
But what, no disrespect to the other characters in The Conjuring, what I love about this investigative team in Poltergeist, not just the acting, other than the one that does get scared and doesn't come back, you know what I mean? They really want to help this family. They're not doing it to be famous. And that scene where the woman tells Jo Beth Williams, the one guy's not going to be coming back, and she looks at her and she says, "I will be coming back."
Yep.
Gives her that hug.
Yep.
Boom. That's what sells it. And and what I love is about, I forget the other guy's name. But what I like about him, he's, the cameraman, the guy who catches the tennis balls. What I like about him is little subtle things that the actor does. Yep. Everyone's afraid. Look at him. Watch his face. He's not just afraid. He's amazed. Look at his eyes. Look at his mouth.
Good point.
That's why Poltergeist wins for me.
Yeah, excellent points, man. Kill, how about you?
This is tough because essentially you're kind of having the Poltergeist where it's the investigation team versus the daughters. in The Conjuring.
Well, and also the cop, and also Drew, who was Ed and Lorraine's assistant.
So yeah, like I said, the
Yeah.
daughters.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'm sorry. The only reason I'm saying that is Ed and Lorraine, the rest of their team, that the guy Drew, they didn't have as much impact as the team
Right.
from Poltergeist.
Mm-hmm.
But with that being said, these daughters, I felt such a connection between them. And the reason I'm gonna go with The Conjuring is mainly that young daughter right there, the youngest daughter that was in the Perrin family. She
Mhm.
went through hell.
Mhm.
And I think she caught it the worst. You know, the creatures playing with their feet. You know, they try to play their kind of clap game, and just the creatures being an ass. And just these sisters, they seem so believable. Now, no disrespect to the kids in Poltergeist. We all know Carol Ann. Nobody cares about the boy who was getting attacked by a clown. They could
Getting
get
swallowed by a tree.
I mean, look, I just got to be real. Like, what's his name?
It's always the middle child no one cares about.
What's his name?
But look, hey, you don't know his name as well as Carol Ann. That's all I'm saying. But yeah,
funny.
I just think the strength of the daughters and just how much they truly felt like a family unit. I got to go with The Conjuring.
All right.
I love you,
Okay.
Robbie. It's okay.
I know, man.
Robbie.
I'll pull you out of that tree.
Robbie, I know. Yeah. Eric, real quick, Coriander, before I get to you. Troy's in the chat. What's up, Troy? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Elm Street's Last Breath saying Poltergeist for me. I enjoyed the mother Diane's ferocity to journey to the other side to save her daughter. Good point. Fate was saying which one is more iconic. Poltergeist is iconic and a staple. Conjuring started a new franchise and a staple also. Yeah. Absolutely, no doubt. Dan is going with Poltergeist for supporting characters. He says Zelda Rubinstein for the win. There you go. All right, Coriander. How about you for supporting characters?
I'm right there with Killian. Those the girls, I'm telling you, the cop, he had his moments also because to me, he was a skeptic. I don't think he really believed what Ed and Lorraine were doing, until he witnessed shit. But these girls, all of them, I mean, the fact that this thing can pretty much attack your whole family, but where in Poltergeist, like, Killian's almost saying, they just want Carol Ann, so I'm sorry, but those kids did a great job. And like Killian said, that little girl at the end of this movie, holy shit. All I have to say is holy shit. So there you go.
All right. Okay. For me, it's pretty interesting because I think both movies have a lot of great characters, and even like you said, Coriander, even the cop and Drew, they had their moments too, especially at the end, when Drew was looking for one of the daughters and stuff like that. So I think that it was really, really cool how in both of these movies you had supporting characters that had like their moments. But I got to go with Poltergeist on this. And let me tell you why. I do think that the kids from The Conjuring were great. I think they had great moments and horrific moments. But so did the kids from Poltergeist. I mean, it's not like they had a walk in the park. So to me, they kind of cancel each other out. Okay. This is where Poltergeist wins. Zelda. I mean, Zelda was absolutely amazing. As soon as she came on screen as Tangina, boom, she commanded the screen. When she had that moment of explaining what's going on in the house and everyone is like kneeling in front of her, that's a great character moment. And no one outside of Ed and Lorraine, Carolyn, and Roger in The Conjuring had a moment that heavy, in my opinion. Now the other thing too, and I think Eric, you said it too, that scene with Dr. Lesh when she said, I think his name was Marty or whoever, said he won't be coming back, and then she grabbed Diane's hand and she says, I will be coming back, and she explained about death to in front of Diane and Robbie. I mean, that was killer.
Mhm.
I mean, this is like a supporting character that has that moment. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? So to me, it was a little too easy to pick Poltergeist in this particular one. All right, woo, let's go. Let's move on to the next category. All right, next up, and hold on, actually, before I do that, Ty is in the chat saying maybe I'll watch Poltergeist tonight. Haven't seen it in 2 years, and a few months ago I watched the remake, which we don't talk about.
Oh,
We don't.
there's good in
We
that
don't.
remake. I find it.
Well, yeah,
You gotta dig.
I gotta check it out.
You
You gotta dig,
gotta dig, but there's good.
right? Elm Street saying Zelda's performance is next level. Absolutely, man. I
Yeah.
mean, she was. Listen, the other characters were kneeling in front of her. I mean, you don't do that for a character that's not going to represent, and that was just a powerful scene. It really, really was. Okay, guys, let's go to our next category. You knew we'd have to get there sooner or later, Eric, but we got to talk about the director. Okay, now let's just get this out of the way.
Go ahead.
For the Conjuring, obviously we have James Wan. Okay, we know that. For Poltergeist, I know we've heard the stories about Steven Spielberg on the set, helping out, doing some directing. Some people have said doing a lot of directing, and so forth and so forth. I'm gonna make, unless you guys have a really big, if you're really against this, I'm gonna make the decision to say this is Tobe Hooper's movie. He's the director of Poltergeist.
I listened to Mick Garris's podcast, okay? And Mick Garris worked on Poltergeist. And when Tobe Hooper passed away, they did a tribute show to him, and he confirmed Tobe directed Poltergeist. Steven was on set influencing, but the man behind the camera was Tobe Hooper. So there you go.
And I'm glad
Give the man
you
some
said
credit.
that. Yeah, and and I had heard some of that too, and I'm glad you said it so eloquently. First of all, rest in peace to Tobe Hooper. Okay, that's number one.
Yeah.
And I think we just gotta look. I love Steven Spielberg probably as much as anyone, either on this panel or in the audience. I grew up on Steven Spielberg, and he's amazing. But let's give some credit to Tobe Hooper. All right, let's just take a moment and give some credit to Tobe Hooper, who did much more than just the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Okay, so it's Tobe Hooper versus James Wan. All right, so Eric, let's start this off.
And we're doing it for just this movie. Let me get this out there. James Wan's one of my favorite directors. And it's not just horror, whether it's Fast and Furious movies, whether it's Death Sentence with Kevin Bacon that no one talks about, or whether it's even Aquaman. You know what I mean? He has an eye. He's got a great vision. He got great use of shadows and stuff like that. But I'm giving it to Tobe because I like a lot just the way he makes things look. Again, that false sense of security. I love how everything is so happy-go-lucky. I love like stuff when Jo Beth Williams, she's testing out the powers in front of Steven. You know what I mean? The way the light is, everything is light, nice and bright, and then it gets super, super, super dark as the movie goes on. If you don't notice that stuff,
That's
a lot of these foreshadowings, like you have that close-up of the clown, you know what I mean, in the very beginning, but Robbie's attacked by the tree. You don't see that clown until like the last 10 minutes. So there's some good foreshadowing. There's good ways of making that tree look ominous in the daytime when Robbie's just climbing it. So I like the way Tobe uses the camera more. And it pains me because of how much I love James as a director, but I'm giving it to Tobe Hooper.
Well said, man. Well said. Kill, how about you?
Both of these directors are great horror directors. I love Tobe Hooper and I love Poltergeist, but James Wan is doing more. James Wan is directing 3 movies in one. He's doing a movie about the Warrens. He's doing a movie about a haunting of a house, and then he's doing a possession movie with Lily Taylor. And no disrespect to Poltergeist, that's nightmare fuel. It's classic. It's that 80s family. It's fun, but then it turns, scary and nightmare fuel. And I love the tone changes there. But there's so many little nuances that James has to put in here. He has to direct young girls. So you're directing like child actors, and they all did a fantastic job. You're
Edited.
directing. You talk about mothers. Yeah, Jo Beth Williams did some stuff, but this mother is fighting a possession
Yeah, dude.
in the
Preach
midst
it.
of trying
Preach
to save
it, Kill.
kids. And shouts out to Lily Taylor. No one really talks.
Yes.
True enough.
And of course the Warrens. I mean, they're portraying these iconic real people. I just feel James is doing so much more in The Conjuring that it hurts me to say this because I love them both. It's very close, but I have to give it to The Conjuring.
It's tough.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Well
Coriander, how
said.
about you?
I mean,
All right.
Killian said it, man. The complexity and how he put it all together and made it work to where it was that powerful and emotional. Hell yeah.
Mhm.
Hell yeah.
But I
Amen.
hate
Alright.
Conjuring.
Okay.
No, I'm just
All right. Okay. All right. Real quick too. Let's see. Dr. Slaughter's in the chat. What's going on? Welcome to the chat. Hope you're doing well. Ooh, that could be kind of interesting. Ooh, yeah. Leave that in the comments. That'd be kind of interesting. Wow. Ty saying Poltergeist is just more visual. It's more visual, exactly like Eric says. There's more variety of scares, and they were all executed well. All right, all right. For me, this is tough, man. This might be one of the toughest categories because I think both of these directors did so many great things, and you've got to. We're grading this movie versus movie, so there are advantages and disadvantages that both of these movies have. Obviously, one movie has more characters, so that could be an advantage, could be a disadvantage. Maybe it's, it depends how you look at it. And I think Tobe Hooper did, Eric, you made a great point about how there's so much, brightness, not only in the story, but the way things were shot in the movie. And then it does get darker, literally throughout the movie, and also what's going on. But Kill, you're right too. James Wan, it's a masterful thing that he's doing. The camera work, the camera angles, the fact that he was able to balance all these stories together, it was pretty damn crazy. But I'm going with Tobe Hooper, and I'm going to tell you why. Because here's the thing. What do you mean? What is? Did Tobe Hooper not do a good job on Poltergeist? Okay, all right. You keep acting like we got a stepchild here against The Conjuring.
There's a lot of Spielberg feel to it, and the fact that people had to so it's actually known now that Tobe Hooper was the director.
Yeah, but we're not talking behind the scenes stuff. We're not talking behind the scenes stuff and on set. We're talking about what Tobe was able to do with the camera.
Yeah, I get that, but the fact that like we're saying, that there had to have been some type of controversy over that. I mean, James Wan directed this movie. There was no other person to be thrown into that mix. Just saying.
Every family movie in the 80s kind of felt like Steven Spielberg movie.
Of course they did. Of course they did.
Not every. No, I don't agree with that.
I think a lot of
they had to have some level to it. You know what I mean? And not all 80s movies had that level of a Spielberg movie.
Right. But there was definitely a lot of inspiration. But here's the thing, though. I don't want to use that as a deterrent against Tobe Hooper, because that was a rumor that was started and passed on and passed. You know how rumors are.
That was a terrible rumor, because look what happens to rumors, people.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, though. I'm not gonna have that as a mark against Tobe Hooper. I'm gonna go off of what I saw in the movie, and knowing that he's a great director anyway. So it's not surprising.
I'm not saying he isn't. Right, I love his movies.
But here's the reason why I'm going with him is because of the fact that throughout this movie there was so many levels, and I think that even though there can be advantage of having more to juggle, like in The Conjuring, I think the advantage goes even more so to the fact that Poltergeist was much more focused on one family and their journey. And I just think that the way he handled it, it was just masterful. I mean, again, and both movies do this, but even in Poltergeist, things are just ratcheted up time and time again. Every time you think there's time to take a breath, it goes into this other direction. But the other thing too is that there's a charm to the way that he directed Poltergeist. that I think edges out The Conjuring just a little bit. There's this charm in Poltergeist, and some people may say, well, it's a sign of the times or this or that. All I can do is grade it, movie versus movie. So that's why I'm going with Tobe Hooper.
Well, see, I'll say this too. Sure, Steven Spielberg was on set, but you know what? I think his influence helped the final product. You know what I mean? That's what also gives me the reason why I gave it to Poltergeist. It's movie versus movie here. I like James Wan movies more than I like Tobe Hooper's. If I'm putting the filmography against each other, I'm choosing James Wan, no contest. But because of it's just these two movies, I couldn't deny Tobe Hooper.
Dr. Slaughter making a good point. Poltergeist also has a much larger impact on the horror genre. Definitely inspired Insidious. Well, I think it inspired The Conjuring as well. I mean, there's definitely some things in The Conjuring that there's no doubt, and James Wan didn't write it, but there's no doubt that there had to have been some inspiration from Poltergeist. I mean, to me, there wasn't anything like it before it, and there have been some movies that made afterwards.
Amityville.
Yeah, but Amityville is different in the sense that it's more. I mean, yes, there's a family, but this movie is totally. No, I know that, but what I'm saying, this movie is totally just about this family. It isn't focused just on like in Amityville. There's so much focus on the couple. You know what I mean? As far as them leading, and their kids are just kind of very secondary. You know what I mean? Whereas this is much more of a family unit, in my opinion. And I love Amityville. So
I mean, come on, though. If we're talking Amityville, though, I mean, dude, you've got people who previously were in that house. Who was it? The son, right?
Yeah.
Killed the parents and his siblings.
Yeah, no, I know that.
Holy shit. Well, I'm just saying that. Damn.
I mean, there are parallels to that too. But I just think when you talk about a family unit, a total family unit that is front and center, rather than just Diane and Steven, and then, the kids too. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's what makes Poltergeist stand out a little bit more as a family, haunted house movie, if that's what you want to call it. Okay, so real quick too, in the chat, Gina's coming in with a $5 super chat. Well, thank you so much, Gina. Thank you.
Thank you.
This is thanks for my brother giving me a bigger bedroom because of a tree. Poltergeist is great.
Right.
I like that. All right.
Nice.
So we have got 5 points given to Poltergeist. Awesome. Thank you so much, Gina, helping to level out the playing field here. Thank you. We appreciate the support. It's very, very kind. And thank you. Okay, guys. Next up, family versus family. Okay. So this is what we're gonna do. Just explain this, Eric. We've got the Perrin family versus the Freeling family. Okay, and that's it. Which one are you gonna go with?
You know what? I'm going with Poltergeist, and the reason why is I like the Perrin family a lot. I just feel a closer bond between the Freelings, and I think it's mainly because of the parents there, Stephen and his wife. I think especially what she goes through at the end, you know what I mean? And it's, when he's off, getting stuff at the office, this final act, you know what I mean? She gets out of the tub and then she hears her kids screaming. What it is for me is she's about ready to jump right into hell. And, she's in full mom mode because don't leave my kids alone. She said, get away from my babies. You know what I mean? They're still her babies to her. And she doesn't care how long that hallway is. She's running that mile-long hallway because, it stretches out. She's ready to take on that skeleton dog or whatever it is. And then she jumps right into hell where the Sarlacc pit's sucking the kids in. You know what I mean? That's what it is, that bond between her and the kids that makes me choose the Freelings.
Okay. All right. Kill, how about you?
This one's tough. I like both families, but it's kind of an unfair advantage because Lily Taylor is kind of out of the game because she's being possessed. I'm gonna have to go with Poltergeist, because the mom in Poltergeist, she is fierce. She's willing to go to the other side to get Carol Ann.
Mhm.
Craig T. Nelson is always amazing.
Mhm.
Robbie's awesome. And maybe, like you were saying, numbers sometimes help or hinder. This
Mhm.
one, maybe since it is just, four of them, and essentially three of them are working to get Carol Ann back, it's more
Mhm.
focused and it just works. But yeah, I'm gonna have to go Poltergeist.
Okay. All right. Coriander, how about you?
I am going to go with the Conjuring movies. Well, movie. Just because, I mean, this mom, what was her name? I can't remember her name. Lilith?
Carolyn.
Carolyn. Yeah,
Carolyn.
man. She's like, she does a lot for her whole family. I mean, she takes care of everybody. You can see how much, she loves her family, and at the end of this movie, I mean, this woman, holy good God, she's at the point of trying to, murder her youngest child. She's like
Mhm.
savagely going after her when at the beginning of this movie, just like when um Lorraine tells her, remember the memory you told me about the beach, and she
Mhm.
remembers her family and she's possessed and you can see. I'm sorry, it was so powerful. I'm sorry. This mother, I would do anything for my kids. I would do what the mom in Poltergeist did. I would do that for either of my girls. But to have happened what this mother went through, that would forever, ever change. At least I would think how this child would look at her mother again. You know what
Mhm.
I mean?
Well, yeah.
So it was like I said, really powerful. And yeah, I'm going with Conjuring.
Okay. All right. For me, I think, and you all you guys made pretty good points, but I think when I look at the families, the totality of the families, um, I gotta go with Poltergeist on this, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because to me, they all of them had more things going on, as far as in the movie that had to be balanced versus what was going on in The Conjuring. It was just so many different angles for each of those family members. It was intense, it was crazy. There's a noise that I hear. I don't know what that is, like a tapping or something. I don't know if you guys hear that. So it's tough because both families are really really good, but I've got to go with Poltergeist on this one. All right, real quick, do you guys hear that
I
noise,
hear it. Yeah.
like a
Yeah.
tapping?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Real quick too in the chat. Let me get to the chat here. Um, Dr. Slaughter was saying Joe Bob set the record straight on the rumors that Spielberg was the actual director. I believe it was his last drive-in episode on TCM, where he went on a rant defending Tobe. Yeah, man. I mean, like I said, I think that it's really important to, just kind of look at the fact that it was a rumor that was started, and unfortunately, it kind of, I don't know, it kind of tainted the way people looked at the direction, for Poltergeist.
Mhm.
Okay, guys, let's go to our next category. Next category. Okay, so Eric, we're going to talk about the scarier threat. Now, this is how we're doing this category. We're talking about what the kids went through that we saw on screen in the movie. Okay. Which kids had the scarier threat? Okay.
Okay. I'm going with Poltergeist because here's why. Don't get me wrong. Mother trying, possessed by a demon trying to kill their children. That's definitely scary. But Robbie was almost eaten twice by a tree and by the thing in the closet. Carolyn disappeared into another dimension, or however we want to say that. We don't know. We didn't know if she would ever come back. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Robbie was nearly strangled to death by a clown. And then, clown doll. And then you had, if we're just talking about, the children, you still had all these dead bodies popping up out of the ground. You know what I mean? You didn't know what they would do, and you didn't know what was happening to Carol Ann on the other side. She was being chased by something, because you can hear the footsteps as she was running away from whatever it was, type of thing. So that's why I'm going with that. Mainly also because the unknown factor.
Oh, that's interesting. I never thought of anything. Okay, Kill. How about you?
See, this is hard, because not only do you have the witch in Conjuring, you also have your own mother trying to kill you, the woman who gave birth to you. Like that in itself is really scary. And
she looked terrifying.
Yeah. And I think back also to that scene where the girls are stuck in that room with the old woman, and she's throwing them around like cats and nothing, and the dad can't open the door. Now you switch back to Poltergeist. There's the whole other realm that Carol Ann is in, and obviously the Robbie just almost getting molested by a tree and a clown and this and that. But I'm still gonna have to give it to Conjuring, just the sheer fact of seeing your mom turn into something else, being possessed by God knows what, and trying to kill you. Like that's tough. Amongst just the old woman and all the other stuff, like, oh, it's behind you, like, whoa, So, yeah.
All right. Okay. Coriander, how about you?
I mean, I agree that with The Conjuring, the scene where the mother is like, they have her tied to that chair with the sheet over her to get her like under control. And when it rips, holy shit, dude, come on. What do you think is the scarier threat? If my kids saw me that way, and either of them, oh my good God. No, this Conjuring is the way more scarier threat. Totally. Hands down.
All right. Okay. For me, I think this is it's not an easy one. I don't think at all, because obviously when Carolyn becomes possessed, that's horrific, and she goes after Christine, who is the daughter that was getting pulled out of the bed and stuff like that. So that was pretty scary. And like you guys talked about with Poltergeist, with Robbie, what happened to him, that was scary too. Two scary scenes for a child of that age who was already afraid of the lightning and the tree and stuff. But Carol Ann gets taken to another friggin' world, another dimension. Like, whether it's purgatory, we don't even know what it is. Like, that's some rough stuff, because who knows what she saw? She didn't remember it afterwards. But that's some scary stuff, man.
She didn't remember this. This little girl in The Conjuring is going to remember this for her the rest of her life.
Well, we don't know that. We're talking about this movie only. We don't know that. We don't know how long she.
Dude, this is based on a movie and real life.
Well, yeah.
I'm not saying it happened like this exactly, but I'm just saying.
Right.
Good God. Yeah. What do you think is the scarier threat? Come on.
He's trying to say what's the scarier threat.
That's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah,
I'm just saying,
movie, not something that is based on a true story. Jesus, come on, guys.
But we don't know if that
line here.
We don't know if that possession was. This is loosely based on their case files. So I'm not sure if that part particularly happened.
Every file or every account of a possession, you see that the person that's been possessed has gone through hell. You can see.
No, I know.
They've got the bruises, and I mean, come on, man, come on.
But I'm saying,
this kid doesn't even remember. She's gonna sleep with.
So does that mean
dreaming of My Little Fucking Pony?
She's gonna remember that thing in the closet at the end that's sucking them both in.
Right. That's what I'm saying, man.
But
you don't think that what she went through for those, what was it, 2 weeks, whatever it was, you don't think that was scary, her being alone in another dimension?
Dude, she doesn't remember.
That doesn't matter, though. I'm talking about what they went through.
At the time, it probably was. But this other little girl, no.
Well, put
No,
it this way:
there's
at the end of the
something
movie,
between, you know,
okay,
a child being chased by her mother who's
right.
trying to kill her,
That's right. But
busting through the fucking house.
I
Come
know. But here's the
on.
thing.
Come
Here's
on,
here's how
guys.
I can justify my answer. At the end of the movie, the little girl seemed fine. She wasn't scared of Carolyn. She hugged them. She gave her present to Ed and Lorraine. She was all good. Carol
I get
Ann
that.
was well, hold on, let me finish. Carol Ann was in another dimension for days alone as a whatever,
Dude,
6-year-old girl,
you,
whatever.
you think you're
So I'm going
saying
with
yet?
Poltergeist.
No way. You're saying yet just because she gets a gift, she's going to forgive her mother and there's going to be no traumatic nightmares. There's going to be
Well, how
no,
do you know that? We don't know
thoughts
that.
of,
We're talking about
dude,
this movie, though. Only this movie.
if
That's the end
I'm
of the
thinking
movie.
a child wise, if my children saw me coming
That's
at them
true. Yeah,
looking like that,
it could be
come on,
horrible.
dude. Come
Yeah.
on.
But I'm
Okay,
just
all
saying.
right.
How you doing tonight,
based on the
Killian? You
movie.
doing good, buddy?
I know. It's like
good.
Corian is getting on everyone. It's like all I'm saying is in the movie, based upon what we see, not what we think is going to happen, what we see in the movie. Yeah, Carol Ann, they say she doesn't really remember much of it, but the young daughter in The Conjuring, she's fine at the end of the movie too. So it kind of cancels each other out.
Dude,
But
you
Carol
see
Ann was in
5
another
seconds
dimension.
at the end of the movie. 5
Okay.
seconds. You don't know. You see
here-
more at the end of Poltergeist after the traumatic event than you see with
Here's-
this family.
Here's
Just
one thing.
saying.
Here's one thing I would interject, and we can move on. We don't really see the other dimension that Carol Ann is in. We really don't, but we know she's there. So if we're going off the logic of what we see in the movie, we really don't see it. We see Lily Taylor with the hood and blood and looking like a straight up demon and chairs floating up and down, this and that. But regardless, that's not.
But the kids weren't in front of her when she was being exercised.
The one daughter.
True.
No, she
The
wasn't.
one she took off. When
Right.
shit was going down, she took off. But I'm
Right,
sure
the daughter
she,
went
she
to the
knows.
floorboards, but she wasn't there when Ed and Lorraine were doing the exorcism. There were no kids
Still.
around Carolyn, so all of that they didn't see. They just saw
But
the
she still
one
saw
child.
how her mother.
Right,
Sorry,
when
but,
she was in the
no.
floorboard and Carolyn.
It's okay
went
to be
after her.
wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I still love you. Let's
I'll
move
interject
on.
this
No.
for Night. Okay, take away the other side stuff. Okay, let's just say Caroline forgot everything. Once she's brought back, she remembers that whatever that creature is sucking her and Robbie into the closet. She's going to remember the skeletons coming out of the floor.
Well,
so even if she doesn't remember the other side, there's still a bunch of shit happening at the end of the movie that she will remember.
Good point.
But you saw all these other kids going through shit in this house that this witch was doing that they're going to remember.
I tried, Knight. I tried.
That's true.
You're
That's
not
a good
going to
point
win.
too.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
In my opinion.
All right. Okay. Well, that's fine. Well, and I have my opinion. That's why we're doing this. Like you're trying to change people's opinions. I'm just giving you my opinion.
Because oh my God, we should have done like a real, true, like based on events, factual events against, you know what I mean? Because there's just no comparison.
Yeah, but hold on. But let me just back up though. But we can only judge these movies on what they are. Just because one is based upon, and it is loosely, and it's been said, loosely based upon true events versus one that was written.
But you read what Ed and Lorraine have done. If you've researched and, come on.
Yeah,
it's scary shit.
I love whatever. Equal points to both movies because I love both of these movies.
Well, I do too. I think three of us do. All right. So
I like Poltergeist. I'm not saying I don't.
So look, let's go to our next category, Eric. We're going to talk about which couple do you think was represented better? Is it Diane and Steven or Roger and Carolyn?
Oh, great. I got to follow that up. I'm not
okay.
She's already warm-blooded right now and hot and heavy, but I don't care. I'm going to pick Poltergeist. And here's why. I love Ed and Lorraine. I love how close they are. I love how Ed is trying to...
But hold on. We're talking about Carolyn and Roger from The Conjuring versus... I just want to make sure because the people in the live chat may say, we're talking about Ed and Lorraine. So we're talking about Carolyn and Roger versus Diane and Steven. Which couple was better represented in this movie only?
Okay.
Okay.
Switch that then. I'm still going with Poltergeist
Okay.
because of the acting. I did like the bond between the parent and family. The actors. I think the chemistry was better between Joe Beth Williams and Craig T. Nelson before and after the troubles. You know what I mean? They're just, they're he's a blue collar worker and she's, I don't know if she's a house mom, whatever you want to say, housewife. But it's just a typical suburban family. They take care of their kids, they go, watch TV, smoke a joint, do the usual 80s parent stuff. But when the stuff happens, you know what I mean? What I really love is just the way they show that bond when she's about ready to go into the other side. You know what I mean? And, that possibly a kiss goodbye. You know what I mean? And she disappears the way he tugs on that rope. And this is the way he's begging for her to come back when they're in the bathtub. You know what I mean? I think if we're talking about a married couple, I think the love between a husband and wife is shown better in Poltergeist than it is in The Conjuring.
Okay. All right. Kill, how about you?
Okay, I'll make this fast since we took so long on the last topic.
Man, we got to catch
this
up.
is easy, super easy.
Okay.
Poltergeist, because for all the reasons Eric just said, you truly get to feel the love between them. Whereas the parent couple, the dad is a trucker, he's there half the time, and then the other half, mom is possessed. So yeah, Poltergeist.
Okay, Coriander, how about
sweet.
you? It was. Coriander, how about you?
I mean, I enjoyed, the Freelings. They remind me of my parents when I was a kid, totally. So kudos there. But I mean, this husband also had to help free this lady of this demon. I mean, she had to get an exorcism. So the love between them there for their family, for their children, for each other. I'm sorry, but I'm going with Conjuring.
Okay, all right. For me, I think that, and Eric, you made a good point. I think that you just have an overall better arc with Diane and Steven. You see them with the kids, you see them alone, you know what they're about, you get to know them as a couple way more than Carolyn and Roger. Although I think, Roger and Carolyn, they're a good example of a family like you were saying, Kill and Coriander. You've got Roger that, he's on the road, he's a trucker. They put all their money into this new house. They've got a family, it's a family of 7. So you kind of get where he's coming from as a person and as a parent. And Carolyn is kind of holding down the house, and making sure that these 5 daughters aren't breaking the house up or falling down these stairs and all that type of stuff. But I think that with Diane and Steven, I think that you get more depth to them as a couple throughout the whole movie. So I got to go with Poltergeist on this one. Okay, so real quick, let me just catch up to the chat a little bit. We got Rick saying Steven and Diane in Poltergeist. Elm Street saying Diane and Steven. Friday saying Poltergeist. Ty saying Poltergeist. Millions in the chat. What's going on, man? Good to see you. All right. Jason's going with The Conjuring. Hale's going with Poltergeist. Wow, everyone's going in different directions here. All right. And let me just catch up. I know I'm way behind on this. Let's see. Million saying we're going to war. Melissa was saying the scariest threat is The Conjuring. All right. Okay. All right. Next category we're going to, Eric. Best scene. Okay. Now, this is how we're going to do it.
Okay.
We are going to have Ed and Lorraine. You can only use Ed and Lorraine. You can't use Carolyn or Roger for The Conjuring. And obviously, because it's only one family in Poltergeist, it can be Diane or Steven or any of the kids or any of the other characters. So what is the best scene in either movie to you?
There's so many in both of them. I'm going with Poltergeist when the scene where I just mentioned it when Diana's going to the other side. Tangina, they've already done the tennis balls, the possible kiss goodbye when she disappears, and then Tangina telling her what to do. Go into the light, don't go into the light. Steven's freaking out. He's pulling her out
Yeah.
too early. That big ass skeleton head comes and screams at his face, and then boom, they fall out of the ceiling. Is everything a-okay? We don't know. Put him in the bathtub. Everybody wakes up, and then I just love how the investigators, the woman, I can't forget her name, but she's so fucking good in this movie. She shuts the door so they can have their family moment.
Oh, Dr. Lesh. Yeah.
Yes, I just love that from beginning to end. You have the intensity, and then you have the sweetness of her shutting the door so they can reconnect.
Can I also say, just as because you've mentioned her a couple times, and it was also something that I liked too, that moment with her and Diane. She's very underrated.
Yes.
In Poltergeist. And I realized that in Coriander, we were talking about that. Her scenes were really good in Poltergeist. And I know
gives my favorite performance in the movie.
Yeah. And I know
She was
Tangina
great.
and Zelda, obviously, because Zelda gets the lion's share of the credit as a great supporting character, and rightly so. But Dr. Lesh, man, she was very underrated in Poltergeist. I just want to throw that out there. Shout out to her. Kill, how about you? What's the best scene in either movie? And it cannot include Roger or Carolyn from The Conjuring.
Man, this is hard.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm sitting here, I'm trying to think of all the scenes and so forth and things of that nature. For me, I love the love between the husband and wife in Poltergeist, but Ed and Lorraine, they do so many subtle, tender things that really illustrate how scary this situation actually is. And like, hey, you might die or we might die. That they don't really say. Essentially, when they first come to the parent house and so forth, and Lorraine keeps her cool, but she knows it's a lot of bad juju going on in here. And then her and Ed are walking the grounds, and essentially the scene with the noose and the witch hanging from the noose, and just her talking with Ed. It's so subtle, and I know it's probably boring for some people because there's no action or anything to it, but it's just, for me, it fully encompasses this movie. They are
That's a great scene.
Yeah, it is.
They are consummate professionals. Any other couple would be like, nope, I'm noping out of this. But they're so subtle in the horrific things that she can see that he can't, and he's just there like, talk to me. What are you feeling? How bad is this? And she's like, this is bad. Like, so I got to give it to The Conjuring for that one.
Okay. All right. Coriander, how about you?
This is tough. This is tough.
Yeah.
I think I might have to go with Poltergeist on this one.
Wow, mark it down on the calendar.
First
The
one.
scene, it is. The scene where, she's gonna go and get her daughter, and she's, pretty much, it's almost like a goodbye to her husband. Don't let go of the rope, and
good point.
our lives are in your hands, and so that was. That was a powerful scene. So I'm gonna pick that one.
That's a good scene. And also just to say, when she said, don't let go, and he was like, never, I mean, like I said, man, when we talk about couples, that's what I'm saying in that last category.
Yeah.
To me, that was easy. That was probably the easiest question to me, because I just think that Jo Beth Williams and Craig T. Nelson, they just, wow, it's just crazy. But real quick in the chat before I give my answer, Sarah's in the chat. What's up, Sarah? Good to see you.
Hey.
Saying, sorry, I'm late. What did Neil vote for? I'll pick the other one. Well, let me just say,
oh no, come on now.
Neil dropped $30 for The Conjuring, And let's just say, if you're a fan of Poltergeist, that might be the way you want to go. I'm just saying. But good to have you here, Sarah. They're gonna keep that joke up for a while. That was a fun week. Oh
No,
my
you
god.
guys need to like make up, peace and harmony.
Right.
After she drops the money.
Right. Neil saying Ed and Lorraine are probably my favorite couple in horror.
Mhm.
I can't disagree
They were
about that.
good.
Yeah, they're very
They're
They were
fantastic.
good. Yeah.
Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga. I mean, they're just so good together. It's
Mhm.
not even funny. It
Mhm.
really isn't. Ben's in the house.
Hey,
What's
Ben.
up, man? Good to see
Hello.
you. Good to see you. I am the Nightwatch. You gotta love him. You're all right, man. And then Neil's telling Sarah, I voted for the Conjuring. All right. Mike's in the chat. What's going on? Saying I love the Conjuring. Hell yeah, man.
Yeah.
Okay, so for me, the best scene, and there are quite a few of them. And Kill, I like the one that you said, just as far as Ed and Lorraine and their journey and conversation, some of the more subtle moments. But I gotta talk about when Steven is gone and you got Diane's at the house just trying to finish this day off because they're moving. They're just waiting for Steven to come back home. He's getting stuff from the office, and then boom, once she's outside in the pool with real skeletons,
Mm-hmm.
real skeletons. If you looked at those skeletons, I'm thinking to myself, how, where, and why? Well, we know the why, because it was cheaper to use the real skeletons versus fabricating fake ones. JoBeth Williams didn't know that when she filmed the scene.
Mhm.
Holy crap. That was crazy. And then, and you guys have referenced it before. Coriander, you referenced it. Eric, you referenced it. When she's running down that hallway, that scene, the way it was shot by Tobe Hooper, it still looks money to this day.
I don't know how he
she's-
did it, but it looks great.
Right? It is fantastic. And just the fact that she's just trying to keep her family together. She's facing off against that friggin' one demon where she like does that big scream and stuff.
Mhm.
I mean, it's just a fantastic scene. So I think that that's the one scene that I would choose from both movies. So that's mine. Real quick too, let me jump into the chat and catch up with you guys. You guys are working hard here. Ty saying it's official. I'm watching Poltergeist tonight. Yeah, you are.
As you should.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Ben is saying Conjuring is good, but not as good as Poltergeist, in my opinion. There you go. All right. Next up, we're almost at the end here. Eric, our next category that we're going with, Carol Ann or Christine. Now, both of these children went through a lot and obviously were targets, but which one had the rougher go?
I'm gonna go with Christine, based on the fact that even though Carol Ann did deal with the other world and the monster in the closet and the skeletons, the fact that seeing her mother coming after her like that is traumatizing, regardless. So she was put through more, in my opinion, because that's your mom. You know what I mean? Mom's there to protect you, not try to take you out. So gotta give it to the Conjuring.
All right. Kill, how about you?
Got to go with the Conjuring. When you see your mom trying to end you, that'll change some things in your head. When you see your mom just looking like something otherworldly, yeah, that's horrific. Conjuring.
All right, Coriander, how about you?
Definitely Christine. Definitely.
Okay, all right. In the chat, we got Chris saying Team Carol Ann. We got Rick saying Carol Ann. Hale's going with Christine. Elm Street going Carol Ann all the way. All right. Very, very cool. For me, I've got to go with Christine on this based upon what she went through in the beginning of the movie as well. I mean, she had that one scene that she had where she saw the entity behind her sister. That was a really well done scene, and it was shot well. And just again, we always talk about this, but when you have a child actor, so much is on their shoulders. You know what I'm saying? You just have to give so much credit to everyone involved. So I definitely got to go with Christine on this one, no doubt at all. All right, okay, Eric, our next category. We're almost at the end here. This is crazy, man. Favorite character. That includes every single character in both of these movies. Who would you say is your absolute favorite character?
Diane from Poltergeist.
All right.
Again, like I said, the bond she has with her husband, that whole final act of her wanting to protect her children, when she's dealing with her own stuff being dragged around the room like fucking Tina in Elm Street, you know what I mean? It's just, and I love how she goes from excited they have something in their house. You know what I mean? Because when she wants to show it off to Steven, he's just like, this is fucking nuts. You know what I mean? But she's so happy. This is great. Sit down. And then by the end of it, she wants nothing to do with it. So just seeing that change too is really good. So got to go with her.
All right. Okay. Kill, how about you?
A lot of great characters, both movies. I'm gonna have to go with Ed Warren, because he is a professional. He truly believes in this and the occult, and he wants to truly help people, but not at the expense of losing his wife. And
good point.
He so many times he pulls her aside and says, "Look, if this gets too intense, we're out. I can't lose you." And that resonates with me, because he wants to help these families. He wants to believe their stories, but he does not want to lose his wife in any respect, because she is a part of his family and his daughter, and things of that nature. And it's this constant tug of war. And on top of that, he is just funny and just so charismatic, especially when he's given that lecture to the students and so forth. So
a good point.
Ed Warren.
Okay. All right. Coriander, how about you?
I'm going to go with Lorraine. She, like Killian was saying, how he was trying to protect her. She wanted to protect him. Neither of those people wanted to have to go through life with, not having one or the other. So, I mean, and the fact that, Ed is awesome. He can perform a exorcism, but Lorraine, she's got like the supernatural knowledge. She can go beyond and see and feel things. And he even said, it takes a piece of her, after every, whatever we deal with.
Right.
And and this lady, he's like, I'm not even going to ask what she saw on the last case, because it was so terrifying. So,
right.
Yeah, man, she's my favorite.
All right. Real quick too, in the chat, Hale's going with Diane. Chris is going with Tangina. All right. Ty is saying favorite character is Ed. Rick's going with Diane. Elm Street's going with Diane. Jason is going with Lorraine. Vera is incredible in her portrayal of this incredible lady. Lorraine is brave, will face anything if needed to help other people. Bobby is going with Carolyn Perrin for me. All right, portrayed by Lily. Okay. Neil is saying my favorite character in both movies is the dog.
I was gonna say that because I love that
E-Buzz.
dog too. He was so damn cute.
E-Buzz, you gotta love it.
E-Buzz.
All right, that's cool. Favorite character for me, and there are a lot. First of all, I love all these characters. They're so good and they're so well done. Credit to all of the actors and actresses in both of these movies, because it really is on their shoulders to make this thing work. And I'm a big fan of Steven. I'm also a fan of Ed. I love the way that they portray themselves as fathers and as husbands. But I got to go with Lorraine. Lorraine, to me, right from the very beginning was a character that just drew me in and just was just magnificent in everything that she did, and her idea of how they're there for a reason, and that's to help other people, using their gifts and their talents and so forth. She's very selfless, which is very, very cool. Not to say the other characters aren't, but I'm just saying the way that it's portrayed in this movie, it just really hits home. So I gotta go. I got to go with Lorraine on this one. It's tough because I'm a real big fan of Diane as well, and I think she's a really great character. I really, really do. But yeah, real quick too in the chat, Hale saying Ed is a close second for me. All right, yeah. I mean, I think Patrick Wilson was just great. I really do. Okay, guys, we are coming up to the end here. Eric, you knew we had to do this.
Uh-oh.
We got to choose, man. Which is the better movie to you?
Which is the
Who
better?
You gonna go with?
This was easy street for me. Only because I don't hide the fact that Poltergeist is one in my top 3 favorite horror movies of all time. I love The Conjuring, but I'm also I grew up there's more to it than just being scared. When I watch this movie, I think of my childhood. I think of a different time, like I said, with the remotes and the static on the TV. You know what I mean? I wish I had that kid's room, all those toys and the Star Wars posters and stuff like that. It takes me back to a better time, and then it scares the hell out of me. So I just enjoy Poltergeist more, but it's no disrespect to The Conjuring, because The Conjuring is a great film.
So you're saying it operates on multiple levels for you, in other words.
Yeah, there's more to just being a horror movie for me.
Yeah, all right. Neil saying, I have to say, a lot of the categories are really tough choices. Yeah, I think so. I think so, too. Yeah. Okay, Kill, how about you? You got to choose one or the other.
Man, this is really hard for me, because I love
I hope so.
It is. It is. I love both of these movies, and I've seen both of these movies a lot. But the one that I've actually seen more, I got to go with. So for me, I got to go with The Conjuring. And my reasoning for that is it just in totality of just learning more about the Warrens, learning about this family, and just watching it, just the rewatchability for me. This transcends a horror movie to me. This is kind of borderline a documentary about the Warrens.
Yeah.
And no disrespect to Poltergeist. I love Poltergeist. That's some of my original nightmare fuel as a kid. And it's still rewatchable today. But there's no lying here. I got to go with The Conjuring.
Okay. All right. Coriander, how about you?
I mean, I love Poltergeist. I wasn't as young as you guys. I was probably my oldest daughter's age, 14, when I first saw, Poltergeist. So the fact that this is the second time I'm watching The Conjuring, and it hit me like it did. I mean, this movie, I rarely get creeped out, some emotion, when it comes to certain things. Yeah, I'm a crybaby. And holy shit, this movie, damn, the end was wow. All I have to say is, The Conjuring for me.
All right. Okay. And real quick, too, in the chat, Neil is saying Poltergeist has been a favorite of mine for 40 years, but I'm not sure I've seen a better supernatural horror film than The Conjuring since it came out. All right. There you go. There you go.
Man, exactly.
Well said. Chris saying for the win, Poltergeist, 100%. Hale saying Poltergeist, but for a series or franchise, The Conjuring, hands down. That's well said. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. For me, this is about as difficult as it gets, because the one thing, and again, when I did a lot of the prep and stuff for these movies, I already knew it was going to be a good matchup. But to think about the category by category and how close these two movies truly are, even though they're separated by damn near 30-something years or whatever, it's really crazy. It really is. There's so many parallels between these two movies, and both of them do, a lot of great things, and they also do some things a little bit better than the other in multiple, examples. Poltergeist to me it's an absolute classic. It truly is. It had everything that you could want in a movie. Eric, you made a really good point about how it really is. It's a great horror movie, right? But there's so much more going on with the family and the family dynamic and having kind of that 80s nostalgia. But I'm gonna choose The Conjuring, and in my opinion, it's probably the only movie I would choose over Poltergeist. And it's and it's by I'm talking a smidgen. And I was almost gonna do this tonight, but I decided not to because I thought people would think it'd be a cop out. But I wasn't gonna choose. I was originally gonna say I'm not gonna choose. And I can do that because it's my channel.
I didn't want to do that.
That's bullshit.
No, but I'm saying at first I wasn't going to because I think both of these movies are that close. I really do.
I would
really
make
think
you
they're
a
that
t-shirt.
close.
Cop out. Big letters.
The cop out, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, but no, but in my opinion, The Conjuring is the only movie that I could choose over Poltergeist in this sphere of horror movie with the family haunted house type of stuff going on, and the advantage of it is the fact that it's two families, so it is what it is. We can't change that. It is what it is. If it didn't have Ed and Lorraine in it, or if it didn't have Carolyn and Roger in it, I probably would choose Poltergeist. You know what I mean? But the fact that you have two families that are really, really well done and interweaved into the story, just barely.
Exactly.
So I'm gonna go. Would you say, Kel?
Dude, you took the words right out of my mouth. Like, if there was no one else that could beat Poltergeist in this demographic of like family haunting, etc. But like that question was hard.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah,
it is. It is. It really, really is. Real quick, our last category that we're going to throw up here is our usual civilian vote. So let's have you guys just tell us which movie you're going with, and we're going to try to tally that up. And also, for anyone else who wants to throw in any super chats, it is a tight race. We've gotten some super chats, 3 super chats for The Conjuring. If you guys are here, you know how much that was, and we've got 1 for Poltergeist. I'm just saying, but let us also know which one you're going with. And yeah, man, this was really tough. It looks really close. I'm looking at the scores here. I don't know, man. It's really, really. Ben, he's got it in capital letters. Poltergeist.
There you go.
Exclamation point. Man, you're all right.
We'll take it.
And while I tally this up a little bit, let's just have you guys just giving your overall thoughts on what's transpired here tonight.
I've already said, Poltergeist took me back to a time that, it's nostalgic for me, not just the scary stuff, but just the family stuff, the 80s in general. But when I first saw The Conjuring, me and Rachel, we were in our previous house, which was built in like the 1920s. So every time you stepped on a floor, you heard that creak. And it was laundry. I remember it was laundry night. The laundry was in the basement. We said, screw it. It'll wait till the morning, because that's how scary The Conjuring was. You know what I mean? Conjuring is great if you watch it in the dark, on the couch, when, either by yourself or with your loved one type of thing, and focus on it. Don't have your phone. Don't have anything else around you, because James Wan is so good with using so little, because he knows how to do tension with just shadow, sound. You know what I mean? So The Conjuring, just for me, blew me away the first time I saw it, and it's still a great, great horror movie. And shows that James Wan is, he was a force to be reckoned with in the horror genre. And I'm happy that he's broken out and done like Fast and the Furious and Aquaman and stuff like that. But he always occasionally returns, and it's always good to see him come back.
Once again, I love doing these matchups
Mhm.
because my voting was going so far to Poltergeist at the beginning of this. It's like watching a
Yeah, it
great
was.
boxing match. First few rounds, Poltergeist for me is winning, but I knew it was going to switch. That's why I was just like, well, I love both of these movies, but there are certain aspects with the ranking and the questioning that we do on this show that I knew hands down easily I was going to vote for The Conjuring. And just like Knight said earlier, in this demographic, literally Conjuring is the only movie for me that I would vote over Poltergeist, because Poltergeist is a classic. It is nightmare fuel. It did so many things right.
Mhm.
But The Conjuring came along, and James Wan and all the actors, they just worked magic. And
Yeah.
this franchise is great for you guys in the audience. If you have not watched The Conjuring, please do yourself a favor. Check it out. It's amazing. And then come back for Conjuring 2, and then come back for the Conjuring The Devil Made Me Do It. Awesome franchise.
I think they got a fourth one getting ready to come out or getting
They
ready to prep
better.
for. I think they do.
I need
Yeah.
my fix.
I think they do.
Right?
How about you, Coriander? Any final thoughts before I give the score here?
I mean, I always thought it was interesting how you guys would always say, you throw yourself into a movie. And rarely do I ever do that, but I did that with this movie.
I could tell.
And I think, and I think that's why it hit me so hard.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway,
It makes for a different type of experience, in my opinion.
totally,
That's
because
why-
I couldn't
that's why I
imagine
like it.
Yeah.
doing that,
Right.
being possessed and trying to kill my kids.
Yeah.
Right.
I
And
get
the
it.
fact that this lady went through this,
Yeah.
it's terrifying. And man.
Absolutely.
That's the thing. That's the thing I've said. I didn't mean to cut you off, Nick, but I want
That's
to
okay.
kind of jump on what she's saying. I've said it before, on this channel, even with like stuff that we haven't talked about in a long time, like Pet Sematary. I look at horror movies or films in general now a lot differently since I've become a father.
Mm-hmm.
So I know exactly what Coriander's talking about with The Conjuring. You just feel differently. You know what I mean? Watching these type of films, if you become a parent, you know what I mean? It's inevitable.
That's right. Absolutely. No doubt. Neil was saying that he has officially consulted with the cats, and between them and me, it's 2-1 for The Conjuring. It's too funny. I love it. Ben saying, I always say Poltergeist is the perfect time capsule for that era. So I'm with Eric in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Jason saying, I echo Kill's sentiments. Incredible film. Absolutely. Okay, guys. Well, here it is. This really did come down to the wire.
Oh, good.
Which is pretty damn crazy. So let me just throw this up here. First of all, we did have I'll give you guys our scores first. So this was really close. I had to count it 3 times with a score of 30 to 26.
Wow.
So and yeah, we'll talk about it later.
Between the four of us, I honestly didn't think it was that close.
It didn't feel that close
No,
for
it didn't.
a while there. It didn't.
No.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be, but that's still really, really close, point for point, category for category. We had like 18 categories, but 30 to 26 is the score, and the winner is The Conjuring.
All right.
30 to 26.
Yay.
And and because Neil and the cats consulted,
It sounds like a band.
and he dropped
Yes.
30. So our
I
official
love you all.
So our official tally, because of Neil and the cats, by a score
Yay.
of 66 to 36, is The Conjuring.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
All right. So there you go. There it is. Wow, man. Crazy, crazy stuff. Whew. Yeah.
I knew this would be a good
I mean,
one.
the mother
Yeah.
here.
I knew it would. Yeah.
This was a good one.
Can I just
Good.
say her performance at the end? I mean, when she snapped out of it, wow. I
Mhm.
mean, It was
Yeah.
just like, I don't know.
It was really
I
emotional.
never thought, this chick was so talented. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? But in this
Oh yeah,
movie, wow, she's
Lily
awesome.
Taylor is
She's good.
amazing. She's
She
amazing, and
is.
she definitely needs to be in more stuff. And I think both of these movies, have people that are, kind of under the radar a little bit or were underappreciated, but just delivered so well in these two films. These are literally the top of the heap, in my opinion. And like I said earlier, the Conjuring is the only movie that I could really think of that I'd put above Poltergeist. Category for category, anyways. So.
Mhm.
As we get ready to head on out, Jason says, I'm with you, Coriander. I threw myself into the story. It drained me. I can't even imagine going through what the mom goes through what she went through attacking my 6 wonderful sons.
Yep.
Yep. I know. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. All right, guys. Well, this was a lot of fun. We really enjoy doing this and having you guys with us. Thank you so much. If you haven't hit the like button, please make sure you do. Also, make sure, if you haven't already, go to Eric's channel, subscribe to his channel. I've got his link in the description, as I always do every week with these episodes. And also, if you're enjoying these episodes, and so many of you guys have been here week to week, share out the video. I know a lot of you guys have social media. I follow a lot of you guys. So it'd be great to, put it out there. There's a lot of work. And again, a lot of credit to these guys for taking the time to not watch just one movie, but 2 movies, so that we can talk about it for the average of about an hour and 45 minutes each week. So thank you guys so much for the support.
Yeah.
We appreciate it. And wow, next week's going to be interesting. Wow. And let's see, before we head on out, Hail. Thanks, man. I love the thing. It's a great movie. Jason saying, thank you, Night, Eric, Coriander, and Kill. Wonderful stream. As always, love to all. Have a good Wednesday.
Absolutely.
Same to you, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
Have
you.
a
Thanks for
good
showing
night.
up.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys and hope that you guys are here next week, same time.
Yeah.
7:45 to 8 o'clock is start time for our next episode of Battleworld. So we will catch you guys next week. If you're watching this, if you're listening to this, you are the Nightwatch. Peace.
Cheers.
Church.